Welcome, world, in a time when cultures connect across continents. Join me on a timeless journey through Africa's royal legacies. Today, we explore two iconic kingdoms, the embraced Ashanti Kingdom of Ghana and the Eswatini in Southern Africa. The royal moments when the prince and the princess exhibited their dance moves, from ancient roots to modern unity. Their stories inspire pride, resilience, and global harmony. Let's uncover their histories, wealth, and a historic embrace in 2025 that bridges nations. First, the Ashanti Kingdom, nestled in the heart of modern-day Ghana, emerging in the late 17th century. It was forged by visionary leaders like King Osei Tutu and his advisor, Otumfuo, whose immovable sword is believed to be in the ground still today. Legend tells of Anoche summoning the Golden Stool from the heavens, a sacred symbol of unity and the soul of the Ashanti people. From humble Akan roots, the Ashanti built a powerful empire spanning southern Ghana, resisting colonial forces with fierce military prowess, led by a woman, Yaa Asantewaa. By the 18th century and 19th centuries, they dominated West Africa, blending artistry in wood carvings, kente cloth, and gold work. Though colonized by the British in the early 20th century, the kingdom endures today under the Asantehene, preserving traditions that echo through generations. Now, let's shift south to Eswatini, Africa's last absolute monarchy. Its origins trace to the mid-18th century, when the Swazi people, led by King Mswati III, settled in the region's fertile valleys. After migrating from Central Africa, the kingdom expanded under warriors like King Mswati II in the 19th century, from whom the nation draws its name. Originally Swaziland, renamed Eswatini in 2018 to honor its heritage. Facing Zulu and Boer pressures, the Swazi navigated colonial eras, gaining independence in 1968 under King Sobhuza II. Today, ruled by King Mswati III since 1986, it stands as a beacon of Swazi culture, with vibrant festivals like the Umhlanga Dance, celebrating unity and tradition. In 2025, these kingdoms united in a moment of pure royalty. King Mswati III of Eswatini visited Ghana in June, landing in Kumasi for a historic encounter with Asantehene Otumfuo Osei Tutu II at Manhyia Palace. Amid grand ceremonies, the kings exchanged pleasantries, shared a royal banquet, and even faced off in a joyful dance battle. Eswatini king also took a tour of the Manhyia Palace.
It's our local language, meaning talking drums. These drums, before they are made, the king commissions a group. He gives them the right materials to produce these drums. So anytime they are beaten, they convey messages of the king to the people. Simple. The Asantehemaa sits on a chair, and she's also carried by 4 strong men, 2 in front, 2 at back. This time, our grandmother is carried on the head. Is carried on the head, is placed here, and she is carried on the head, telling you so many things. The woman owns the family. It is the woman that controls everything. It is only the woman who can rebuke the king in public when the king does something wrong. And the king seeks advice on the matter of governance. So our grandmother or our Asantehemaa is very powerful when it comes to the Kingdom of Ashanti. Was put out by the British colonial government in the year 1925 for Nana I. Nana I was the 13th king of Ashanti. He was arrested by the British to Seychelles through Sierra Leone to Seychelles for 28 years. When he returned in the year 1924, this house was given him up to 1974. Nana I, the second, and the late king. So this house is the story. The downstairs is administration, the upstairs for their residence. So the first room we are about to enter was used by the late kings as their administrative office. Your Majesty, before we enter, this is the first colored painting to Asante nation. This is the 14th king of Asante. It was painted by a white Hungarian woman. This woman, the husband was in Kumasi, was working in Kumasi. So this woman was an artist who had paid a visit to the husband in Kumasi. So together with the husband, they were special guests to the king. So seeing how beautiful the king was dressed, and because there was no color printing, she took a picture of the office of the late kings. That is the decks, the throne, the old telephones used by them. Of course, we have the flag of Ghana, the old telephones used by them. Yes, and we have the decks. Your Majesty, we have the flag of Asante. The Asante is a nation before Ghana had the independence. So that was the flag of Asante, the colors yellow, black, and green. The yellow represents their money, rich in gold. The black, the strength of the people. The green, the fertility of the land. So together we say the rich black man in the forest. So that's the meaning of our flag. Your Majesty, on the wall we see the map of Asante. That was the ancient map of Asante before Ghana was born. Ghana is only 66 million. Your Majesty, you have the first television to Asante Nation, 1965. At that time, before you watch a television, you have to book an appointment. So that was the television. Your Majesty, at the extreme end, you have the black and white photo there. That is the Asante architecture. Asante started building their own house before colonization. So that's Asante architecture. So far, we have 16 Asante kings since the formation of Asante Kingdom. The current king is the 16th king. The one before us was the 14th king. Otumfuo Osei Tutu the second. He was king from 1931 to 1970. He was 39 years when he was installed and ruled for another 39 years. So he passed on at age 78 in the year 1970. Your Majesty, that is the sister, Nana Yaa Asantewa, the 12th grandmother of Asante from 1945 to 1977. Your Majesty, in Asante tradition, anytime we see the Asantehemaa or the woman, the grandmother, and the king, they are not husband and wife. They can't marry. They are from the same royal family, blood related. So either mother and son, or a brother and sister. That were used to serve them. Your Majesty, you'll be asked to pick your own glass. But the glass you pick determines the drink they can offer. Your Majesty, you will not be told. As soon as you pick the big one, you'll be given water. But the small ones will enjoy your champagne, your whiskey, telling you don't be greedy. Your Majesty. Was used as a dining room. In our tradition, the king dines alone. In those times, he dines alone. And we have this table and chairs, and we also have this object on the table, a family bowl. The Asante, I showed you Asante architecture. the Asante built the house, the compound house, in such a way that each house could accommodate between 2, 3, 4 families. So that during the evening's food, all the men in the same house will enjoy the meal together. Like 4 men in the house, my wife is done, the rest will join me, they will eat. Then all our wives will eat together, then our children will eat together. It was very difficult to poison somebody's food. Still working after 75 years. We've never changed the motto, we've never fought the grass, it still works, Your Majesty. Yes. No, Uncle 10. It was a gift to Nana Yaa II by a very fair Israel. Yeah. That is Asante textile, the Asante fabric. In Ghana, the one I'm wearing was made locally by Asante people. There is a village, a community in our kingdom that produces kente. And in those times, kente was specifically made for the royals. It is a royalty. And nobody was allowed to put on for Otumfuo Osei II, 1970 till 1999. It was during his time in the year 1995 that this old palace was turned into a palace museum when he was 25 years. Your Majesty we also have the 13th Queen Mother of Asante, Nana Yaa Asantewa II. And one of the wars that Asante will never forget in their lives was fought in the year 1874. That was when the British brought their ammunitions and destroyed the entire nation. It was after they had taken our gold, our treasures, that they set the entire city Kumasi ablaze. And there have been several calls to bring the items back, but to no avail. Last 2-3 years, our king was a special guest to King Charles during his coronation. So after the coronation, our king had a meeting with the British Museum, Victoria and Albert Museum, and they decided to bring some of the items back to us, but on loan. Your Majesty, these are some of the things that we have brought. These are the creativity, the ingenuity of our forebears. Even though no formal education, that was what they were able to create so many years ago. It is exactly 151 years since these items were looted by the British. So, and the age of these items are more than 150 years, but they were being used before they were taken away. They thought by taking this sword, this is the sword, Nkombozo sword. It's a special sword that every Asante chief uses to swear the oath of office before that person is accepted as a chief. So the reason they took this one away was that they wanted to deny us of our chieftaincy institution. But they didn't know that the creation of this sword is innate. So when they took this one away, we were able to create another one. That's why we have kept the institution thus far. So that is the Nkombozo sword, very powerful sword that legitimizes somebody to become. Downstairs, I told you, one of the Asante kings was arrested to Seychelles for 28 years. Your Majesty, that is him. Otumfuo Osei the first. He was 18 years in the year 1888 when he became a king, the king of Asante. But at age 26 in the year 1886, he was arrested by the British to one of our towns in the central region, Elder Castle. Your Majesty, imagine the entire UK fighting, and I wanted to fight to protect our king. But the king said, it's better for me to go alone, but to destroy the entire nation. So he voluntarily offered himself. So he sacrificed. Right. They brainwashed him and got him baptized as a Christian into Anglican faith. So you see the cross giving him and the Bible giving him, so that when he comes back, he will not involve himself in our chieftaincy issues. But when he came back, he didn't want to involve himself in the kingship again. But as some people said, no way. For 28 years you were away, they kept your stool. So you could continue to rule. So indeed, when he came from exile in 1924, Asante welcomed him back to Kumasi. Your Majesty, that is the cloth he was wearing. he wore on the day they formally welcomed him back to Kumasi. Your Majesty, that is the miniature ship that took him to Seychelles. Your Majesty, the history of Asante is incomplete without talking about this powerful lady. The lady that we are so proud of. She was the one who led the Asante to fight the last war against the British. When the king and the queen mother and the rest of the chiefs, the warriors, were taken to Seychelles, the British thought that that was the end of Asante Kingdom. So they came back demanding for the Golden Stool of Asante. Your Majesty, Asante has a symbol that identifies who we are. It is the blood, the soul, the spirit of Asante. Whoever touches the stool has touched the heart of Asante. So that was what the British were determined to take away. But all the men, Your Majesty, were afraid to stand the might of the British. It took the bravery of this woman, Nana Yaa Asantewa, who was 65 years in 1900, who said, no way. You've taken our king, we never fought. You've taken our warriors, we never fought. Now you have come back to take away our pride. To have you is going to boost the morale and the public perception about Manhyia Palace. And since we have, Your Majesty, we have small package. It's a book that we want the lady to present to you as to remind you. So.
Blending Ashanti rhythms with Swati spirit, forging stronger ties between nations. This wasn't just diplomacy, it was a celebration of African brotherhood, promising collaboration in trade, culture, and development. In a divided world, their embrace reminds us of unity's power. The Ashanti's riches flowed from vast gold mines, earning Ghana the nickname Gold Coast. Trade in gold, slaves, and ivory fueled an empire of innovation, with intricate crafts and a self-sufficient economy that thrives today in services, agriculture, and resources. As we wrap up, let's give you a glimpse into the one-week observation of the Asantehemaa of the Ashanti Kingdom. Queen Mother of the Ashanti Kingdom, Asantehemaa Nana Yaa Asantewa has passed away. Here is a glimpse into her one-week observation. The executioner, known in their camp parlance as Otumfuo, many believe beheads humans during funerals and other traditional celebrations in the kingdom. Here is Nana Yaa Asantewa III, paramount queen mother of the Manson Kwanta traditional area in the Ashanti Kingdom, regarded as one of the most beautiful queen mothers in Ghana. Fetish priest Odemaya jokingly claims he is his look-alike, performs some incantations for the Ashanti king, Otumfuo Osei Tutu II. The Ashanti and Eswatini Kingdoms teach us that heritage transcends borders. Their 2025 embrace is a timeless call for global unity, cultural respect, and shared progress. Whether you are in Accra, in Bambani, or anywhere else, let's celebrate these stories. What royal tale inspires you? Comment below, like if you are moved, and subscribe for more world trends. Until next time, stay connected to your roots.